Hello and welcome to the Forces Sports Show, your weekly roundup of the best action and biggest stories from across the services, coming up in the next half hour. Honouring achievement, the Army hands out its Sports Awards for 2018. Setting up a title decider, the Army beat the Navy in the Under-23 Inter-Services Rugby. Expanding squash, how the game within the forces is moving to the next level. We start with the Army Sports Awards for 2018 and a special night at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. Paralympic gold medalist ski guide Jen Kehoe was named Sportswoman of the Year, with star boxer Ches Nihel taking the men's award. John Knighton has more.
A glittering night to honour the stars of Army sport in its 100 years to the day since it was formally organised for the first time through the Army Sport Control Board. Sportswoman of the Year is Captain Jen Kehoe, who in 1 week helped partially sighted Menna Fitzpatrick become the most decorated British sports para-athlete in history, guiding her to 4 skiing medals, including a gold. She was selected ahead of Welsh netball star Lance Corporal Fern Davis and sensational boxer gunner Caris Artingstall.
Yet another bit of trophy to put on the mantelpiece. Is it big enough for everything that you've won over the last few months? My other half keeps joking that he's going to have to put up a shelf, and he's actually watching from Austria. He ruptured his ACL on Wednesday, so couldn't be here. So he is going to have to put up another shelf because this is quite heavy. You could easily have been nominated for Team of the Year, really. I know, and actually, I have to say, this is a joint award because I wouldn't be standing here without Menna. You know, we are a team through and through. We experience the highs together, the lows together, and absolutely support each other through everything. So yeah, this is as much for her. From Menna's point of view, she has, what, 5% vision? And the way you communicate with each other is something you developed, isn't it? Yeah, we use code words to explain in really quickly what we do. There's not a lot of time when you're going down a ski slope to communicate, you know, to have a chat. Simply isn't a case of left, right, straight on, whatever. It's much more complicated than that. I'm terrible with left and right, so we banished that one. This year is taking time to sink in, really, because we've gone from incredible experience to incredible experience, and we've still got some pretty exciting things coming up ahead, as well as the fact that we are continuing on our sporting careers. We're, you know, World Championships coming up in January and racing, World Cup racing in December. So I've flown in especially for this event from training and really excited.
Sportsman of the Year is boxer Lance Corporal Ches Nihel, who ended a brilliant amateur career claiming a 3rd English super heavyweight title 6 years after he joined the Army team. He got the nod over Scottish champion road cyclist Sergeant Mark Robertson and pistol shooting Olympic hopeful Sergeant Sam Gowan.
Yeah, that ABA title was always the holy grail for me. Every year I was on the team, Combined Services, Haringey Box Cup, other international tournaments, and every year I got to the ABAs, it was quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals. Every year was just tripping up on that last hurdle. And then I said this year, I believe this is my year, but if it's not, then that's it, and I'm going to have a go at the pro ranks. And then I believed in myself, and this year was my year, obviously. Great success for yourself personally, but we do have to say that the Army didn't win the Inter-Services this year for the first time in, what, 34 years. So presumably, with your help as a coach... You didn't have to mention that. We have to be fair. Obviously, this year was mixed emotions. I won my fight. We had 3 Army lads go through to the National ABA Championships, and the Navy took the title off us. Obviously, I won my fight. Like I said, it was mixed emotions. You can do no more than that, can you? What can you do? But no, I was overwhelmed just to get nominated. So to be stood on that stage a minute ago, being interviewed, and to be stood here now being interviewed, I'm absolutely over the moon. Yeah, I'm just... words can't describe how I'm feeling right now, and I'm really honoured. I feel really privileged to be in the position I'm in, and the position at the Army has got me up to this platform.
Rising star was named as skier sapper Ewan Kick, chosen ahead of Taekwondo star Private Sophie Bladdock and brilliant young boxer gunner Tori Ellis-Willett.
I just thought that Tori and Sophie, they were some mega athletes, so I was just like, how do you compete with that? But then I guess everyone puts in the hard work, and it all shows at the end of the day. So it's been a lot of hard work over the last kind of 7 years, and to come and join the military and then to come away with a nice glass trophy like this, it's nice, yeah.
Team of the Year chosen ahead of women's cross-country and the men's ice hockey blades, the men's triathlon team, after a third successive inter-services win this year and a national title too.
I think regiments have been good at sending people, and I think Army Triathlon have run good events that people have wanted to take part in. Individually, there are a lot of other big civilian events out there, and the Army offers a really good environment for people to learn and start these sports in on sort of Wednesday afternoons in a safe environment, so that come the weekends they can take part in the bigger events that are more popular in the mainstream.
Official of the Year, basketball's WO2 Ian Lester, for more than 35 years dedication to the sport as a referee and coach.
I've loved basketball for a long time. I was a player. I didn't succeed as a player because I was a little bit short and couldn't do so. I thought I wanted to give something back to the game, and I took up officiating and really enjoyed it and did well.
And in this very special year for Army sport, there was a Lifetime Achievement Award for Major Colin Dixon for 40 years service to Army orienteering.
To me personally, it's a phenomenal achievement, and I'm really very proud of it. To the sport, I think it's a recognition to all of those sidelined or feel they're sidelined from main sports. Everyone has to be able to map read. Everyone, whether it be in a vehicle or using air photography or an ordnance survey map, have all got to be able to navigate. By orienteering, you can navigate better.
The Inter-Services Under-23 rugby title will be decided in the final game after the Army's victory over the Navy in Match 2. The three-time defending champions were beaten 37 points to 24 at Aldershot. A win for the Army against the RAF will see them take the title.
The Royal Navy arrived in Aldershot knowing victory would secure them their fourth successive title, following their win against the Air Force the week before. But it was their hosts who took the lead, thanks to Phil Graham latching on to Aaron James' inch-perfect kick and sprinting in for a converted try and 7-0 lead. It wasn't long, however, before the Dark Blues struck back. Navy fly half Dan Rutter plucked out the racing Jerome Rudder, steering his way towards the posts. Brad James was in support, and the centre crashed over for a converted score, and the teams were all square. The Army retook the lead minutes later as they surged into the Navy half. This time, James cut between two would-be tacklers, and his mazy run concluded with an unconverted try. The men in red extended their lead further when Rutter prevented an Army pass from going to hand, with referee Grant Stephen awarding a penalty. James was on target from the tee to put the Army 15 points to 7 in front. The Army fly half was at the heart of his team's third try. Another measured kick was collected by Barney, and with teammate Drao Vaku lurking in support, the Royal Logistic man dived in at the corner. Two yellow cards late in the first half threatened to derail the Army's aspirations. Billy Kotobalavu was sent to the sin bin with the Navy in a perfect position for points, camped on the Army line. With the Dark Blues enjoying a two-player advantage, this was the time to strike back. Somehow, they scuppered their own scrum, and the Army held on to lead 27 at the break. A lacklustre Dark Blues side fell further behind as they leaked a fourth try. Joe Mills from the Yorkshire Regiment displayed typical grit to shunt his way over the line for a converted score. The Navy responded with a try of their own. The compact Janes pirouetted past the Army defence for his second score of the game, cutting the hosts' advantage to just 13 points. But a fifth try for the Army soon followed. It was Scott Kilby who killed off Navy hopes of victory and a fourth Inter-Services title on the trot. The guests managed to muster two late tries of their own. With their hosts dozing at the line-out, Toby Papp found a massive gap to dive in and score. In between the Navy scores was a successful penalty from Army's substitute Ethan Riley. The point scoring concluded with Sam Skinner finding his way over the try line, but it was the Army who enjoyed the 37 points to 24 victory and can win the title if they beat the Airmen at Halton next week.
great result. Enjoy it this evening. You know, thoroughly deserved, because they went to the depths that I've asked them to go to, and they come up with a result. So I don't think you can bypass the fact that we had a great victory here this evening, and the boys can go away and enjoy that. But you're right, there are quite a few things to work on for next week.
From the start, we said start with a bang. First half, second half, start with a bang. That's what we wanted to do. That's what we achieved out here. Start with a bang. Second half, we scored a try. From there on, it started declining, but fitness came in. They picked up Royal Navy. Fair play to them. Well, we just managed to hold on to them.
The Army Intercorps Squash Championships have taken place in Aldershot. Military players have received a boost in recent months, with a number of high-profile squash organisations signing the UK Armed Forces Covenant.
Many of the Army's leading squash players took to the courts at Aldershot Garrison for this year's Intercorps Championships. The sport is enjoying huge popularity amongst the Army and has been boosted in recent months as major organisations, including the Professional Squash Association and England Squash, have signed the UK Armed Forces Covenant. The service have also set up the Army Squash Academy, so junior soldiers can develop their game, making them better players and fierce opposition when the Army meet the Royal Navy and RAF at the Inter-Services Championships. The latest organisation to sign the covenant is Squash Skills. Soldiers can now improve their play no matter where they are posted in the world, thanks to the services Squash Skills provide.
We're lucky, we've done a lot of work with England Squash, with the Professional Squash Association, and we're kind of building a support network, if you like, for Army Squash. Paul Carter, who coaches the Army Squash Academy, he does some coaching videos for Squash Skills. I've used Squash Skills in the past, so I knew it was something that could be of huge benefit, particularly for those of us who are posted away, haven't got other training partners to be able to access that resource remotely. And I emailed the CEO, Jethro, and he was really keen to get involved and to help us develop Army Squash.
Soldiers' fitness has come under the spotlight lately. With its fast, frenetic play and gladiatorial undertones, squash certainly requires a degree of physical ability. Now in his 50s, current Army Squash President, General Tyrone Urch, extols the virtues of the game.
We're having a really good look, a scientific look at the physical entry standards for the British Army, both soldiers that are in and those who are about to join. And the new conditioning standards that we're going to set are going to be really good. It's not going to be easy to get into the Army, but we'll have a much better look at those soldiers. And I think that kind of cardiovascular, explosive, sort of short, sharp exercise that you kind of get on here is complementary to be able to put your Bergen on and going and doing a kind of 6-miler. You know, we need our soldiers to be able to do both, male or female, regular or reserve, kind of the same sort of standard. We need all our soldiers to do that.
And there's something almost gladiatorial about squash. It's just the two of you in that court, going for glory. Is that why you keep coming back, at the age of 53?
This is a team sport. I'm really keen to point out that, gets the 5 seeds. You don't draw, you win or lose as a team, but of course it is all down to an individual effort on the court. You need to train hard before you come on, you need to be fit to play squash, don't play squash to keep fit. And when you come off the court and you're not doing so well, one of your team will come up, have a word with you, and he'll tell you, what you're doing wrong, how you need to improve. So from that point of view, it's a genuine team sport.
The team who came out on top at this year's Intercorps competition were the Royal Artillery, after being crowned Division 1 champions. Post-traumatic stress disorder is the focus of a new exhibition using photography and art sourced from veterans diagnosed with the condition. It features Terry Brazier, an ex-para turned world champion mixed martial arts fighter. Kath Brazier went to see what he made of it.
This is the first time Terry had seen this picture of himself. Captured by Phil Donnelly, it's actually a picture within a picture, with Terry's support system, his family, friends and coach caught in his eyes.
It was just powerful, it was really shocking, and I just couldn't stop looking at it. And I don't normally like looking at pictures of myself. Some people will laugh at that, but like seriously, it's such a powerful picture, and Phil Donnelly done such a good job with that. And if you look in the eyes of the picture behind me, you can see the other picture that's next to it with my whole support network. It's a really powerful picture. And like I say, it tells us, it says a million words.
Terry's portrait was just one of the many striking images on display in the exhibition curated by another ex-Army veteran, Leon Stokes. 10 years in the Irish Guards, Leon paints and writes poetry to help with his PTSD.
It goes through stages, but for me personally, it's a way of trying to bring myself back into earth instead of disassociating and getting through the day struggling, I'm trying to focus on something that will eventually hopefully be a positive, and one small step at a time. So if I'm doing something over 4 or 5 days, it can be dipping in and out of it, so I'm not pressuring myself to get too far into it. So it's a way of bringing myself back to earth.
Together, Leon and Terry opened up about their mental health in a unique Q&A session, open to the public.
I don't know what the word is, but it just changed all of us, certainly myself.
Personally, I think there needs to be more veterans out there who, whether they are suffering or not, obviously, of course, there needs to be the right structure and support around you, and I think Terry's got that, which is important. Some people haven't, but there needs to be more veterans stepping out and saying, look, whether I'm suffering or not, here's what I'm doing, and here's something that is a positive, like Terry's doing, and to have him involved in this has been a pleasure.
They may not be the most obvious of bedfellows, but the worlds of art and MMA made a very powerful combination, a small collection of pictures making a big impact on many lives.
Veterans living with sight problems have been given the chance to experience life in the barracks once again. Members of the Scottish War Blinded were taking part in a special sports weekend for partially sighted veterans in Edinburgh. David McCann reports.
Experiencing life behind the wire once again. For some, it's been a number of years since their time in the barracks, but it's something they're keen to experience again. The veterans are all living with sight problems, and taking part in the partially sighted Veterans Weekend is giving them the chance to turn back the clock.
Things come back that you forgot about years ago. When you stepped over the line and back into Civvy Street, you wanted to forget some things. You remember the good times and you forget the bad times. And all the good times have come back to me this weekend. Great.
All are members of the Scottish War Blinded charity that helps veterans who are suffering with eyesight problems. Sports days like these are something the guys are used to having back at their centre. But getting the chance to come to the barracks and spend time with others they can relate to has made it extra special.
I love doing things like this. It gets me out the house and stuff. I'd be shut in the house, but then you're just sight loss and stuff like that. But it's really, really good that I've got this help and support.
The weekend's been organised by the Army Training Unit in Scotland. Keen to build bridges with groups across the country, the unit wants to support the veterans community and give the guys a weekend to remember.
Yeah! Good memories, good fun, and also a bit of camaraderie. Because when they go to the centre, they do stuff, but here it's like it's getting back to the military ethos about comradeship and helping each other.
For many, being back on the base has been a chance to relive their days in the service. But as well as that, it's been a fun weekend adventure out.
And that is it for this week. Don't forget you can see all the action as we get it on forces.net and this show and more on YouTube. Next time, we'll bring you all the winners from the RAF Sports Awards. But we'll end this show where we began, with the Army handing out its honours for 2018. We'll leave you with some of their highlights from the past year.